Hello there, incredible Earthlings, fellow light beings. How are you doing, man? I hope you are all well. You see, today we shall be spreading love to the whole world, peace, forgiveness, showing the importance of unity among all Earthlings. Wonderful. So, we shall be doing that as we react together to very interesting types of videos. Videos you don't wanna miss any bit. Kindly watch till the end, hit the like button, and please tell us where you're watching from. I am Y311H. Straight out of Africa with lots of good vibes. With my friend here, Kasungumo. Let's dive in.
I do love when people use the very technology that CERN is best known for providing to society to demand one result for what CERN has provided to society. So if the World Wide Web is not enough for you, then we also have the diagnostics and treatment of cancers that has been developed through particle physics and particle accelerator research. Better radiation detection that is benefiting the space industries, being able to look inside of pyramids and inside of trucks for security measures. We have the ability to look at what paint is behind famous paintings and understand the history of the evolution of these paintings without damaging them. We also have developed a better workforce that is able to deal with big data, and the training that takes place at CERN then enables those people to go and work in other industries and benefit also the countries that they go back to. And those are just a few of the things that CERN is doing to benefit society.
This is a replica of the original Dendera Zodiac, which is now located in France in the Louvre. And honestly, it made me really sad to see that the temple is missing this one piece and that the Egyptians have had to put a fake one there instead. Now, I can't begin to explain to you how big this temple actually is, and there's more to it than just the actual temple itself. There is an entire complex to explore, as you can see here from the outside, including that small building over there, which is known as the birthing house. I'll explain that in another video. What's also very interesting about the design is that there's a staircase that spirals and a staircase that goes straight down. And what also makes this temple very unique is the style in which it's decorated in. In the Ptolemaic period, which is towards the end of ancient Egypt, there was a real emphasis on putting as much information as possible on the walls. And this is partially down to the fact that the ancient Egyptian priests were afraid, due to the foreign rulers being there, that the knowledge was going to be lost, that the future generations would not know how to perform rituals and the necessary prayers. So unlike in ancient Egyptian temples that were built by the native Egyptians, these Ptolemaic temples tend to have a lot of detail on the walls. You could almost say it's a step-by-step guide on various rituals. And as I said, this was done to preserve the knowledge. Now, you'll hear a lot of people call this temple the Temple of Dendera, but this is incorrect. It is the Temple of Hathor, located at Dendera. And we can see here at the top of all the columns the face of the goddess Hathor. So how much is it going to cost you to visit this place? You'll be glad to know, not very much. There are 2 tickets you need to purchase, one to enter the temple and another one to go on the roof. If you buy them both, it's going to be less than $10. However, of course, if you go with a tour company, expect to pay much more, as you'll have a guide with you. I would also highly recommend going for a walk around the temple on the outside. You will see plenty of depictions of various kings talking about themselves, including one of the depictions of Cleopatra VII, which is the one we all know about. The ancient Egyptians used the outside of temples as a bit of a propaganda poster, because this is where the public would mainly be. The pharaoh would normally put depictions of himself making offerings to the gods, and the gods being pleased with him, to show his divinity to the common man. This part that's smashed up would have been the face of the goddess Hathor in gold, where the commoners could come and make offerings to her, which is located right at the back of the temple. What's also very cool about this temple is that it had a drainage system up on the roof, and the running water would come out of the mouths of these lions at the top. And we also know that the Romans were using this temple at some point, because in 2023 an excavation found a Roman Sphinx. And of course, when I say Roman Sphinx, it is an Egyptian Sphinx depicting a Roman emperor. So although this temple isn't necessarily on everyone's programs when going into Luxor, I do highly recommend you try and make some time for it, or find a way to get yourself there. But for those of you who can't make it, then you have my channel to explore the temple fully with. Just don't forget to set the resolution to 4K when watching it.
But what you're looking at is a quiet neighborhood in Memphis for right now. I'm gonna walk around here, y'all. Since I got y'all on live, if something happened to me, let me know y'all up in here. So if something happened to me, y'all can't say, well, we was on the live and saw what happened to. I'm going around the house, y'all. All right, this is where I've been hearing my bedroom window. It's right there. Oh, Lord, y'all, here comes somebody. We gotta pause it. Here comes somebody. All right, they passed. Okay. I'm pushing my light there, y'all. That's where something jumps off of my house and over my fence. And I'm right there at the window. I can hear it so good. My camera will start making some kind of noise, you know, like it's messing with the electricity or something when it happens. Let me know if y'all see something. I'm trying. I don't want to mess with the neighbors.
SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket visible in Southern California. Wow. Look at this, my friends.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like a rocket. Yeah, look at something's coming off the back. There's two things coming off the back. Do you see that?
Oh. It's a rocket ship! What the heck? It's actually a rocket ship. It's coming out of the atmosphere.
How lucky are we that we happen to be outside? Look at the trail.
It goes all the way to there. Oh my god.
Language is secretly encoded. The letter I is the spine and brain. I and I are the same. Inside your brain is your invisible intelligence, consciousness, the one you refer to when you say I am. This is my body. That means it's not me, it's mine. I and the I am. Number one is one line, which is I as well. Every single one of us refers to ourselves as I, the one. Because me and you are one. We are all the same spark of the one observing consciousness. The Egyptians knew this. This is the one giving the Ankh, the life to all the different life forms. This is why we live in a universe. Uni is unite, meaning one. We are all one. You are the universe. This is why the golden rule is to treat others the way you want to be treated, because I am you and you are me. What I do to you affects my subconscious will affect me. Mind in Latin means mens. Mens became man. We are all man, which is mind. Behind all of these eyes is the same observing consciousness. Level up your life, people, during the Wisdom Academy.
That's right.
You're gonna buy this one?
Look, this very fresh. Don't pick it. But this one is a right.
These are powerful binding runes. To bind runes, we need to cleanse and sanctify them first. This process involves removing any negative energy and focusing on the positive intentions behind the rune.
First of all, you just push it in. Look at the size of this tomato. So whether it's a small tomato, a large tomato, whether it's an orange, a lemon, a lime, grapefruit, tomato, strawberry, you just push it in. That's all you have to do. Every time you push it in, you get that perfect V shape, as you can see just here, like that. And when it gets to the other side, unlike when you do this with a knife, it always matches up. You get a beautiful display. Screw in your spiral cutter like a corkscrew, just like so. You put your finger in the hole and you turn it. By the way, your Piranha V knife and your spiral cutter come with a 5-year guarantee. Both of them will go into your dishwasher or hot soapy water. If you've got an air fryer, and the bigger the potato, the more slices you can get. Watch this, because all of these slices, can you see how they're joined together? If you put those on a wooden skewer or a metal skewer, Put those in your air fryer, they come out crisp and golden brown. If you take a section like this and link them together with a cocktail stick, or just overlap them, you can then put them in your air fryer or your oven and make a potato rosette. From the centre outwards, as you can see like that, they now become individual slices, so they're perfect to go on a...
Do you know that a power transformer works? Is quite simple. It utilizes the principle of electromagnetic induction. First, the primary coil is connected to the power supply, and the secondary coil is connected to the appliances. When the alternating current flows through the primary coil, will produce a change in the surrounding magnetic field. Finally, an induced current is generated in the secondary coil. We change the number of turns in the coil winding to convert the voltage if the secondary winding has more turns than the output voltage is higher than the input voltage. In this case, it's a step-up transformer and vice versa. Such a simple step-up can actually cause power supply, so we need to add stuff to increase the magnetic induction in the coil. A unidirectional transformer uses two sets of coils. A three-way transformer usually consists of three unidirectional transformers. The primary coils inside are separated from the secondary coils outside by an insulating layer to prevent them from being pierced by the current. With the three separating wires can be connected in three different ways. For example, the triangular connection. The three windings are connected to each other in sequence to form a closed circuit. There are also various connections such as the star connection, star delta. Next on top is the ceramic bushing, which is the main insulating device outside the transformer box. Without it, there would be an arc between the power line and the transformer, resulting in a short circuit. In order to further strengthen the insulation and cooling effect, oil immersed transformers and windings are immersed in a tank filled with oil. The insulating oil quickly transfers the heat generated in the coils to the heat sink in the enclosure, and there is also an oil tank installed on the top. Its main function is to provide space for the thermal expansion and contraction of the transformer's oil. Note that large oil immersed transformers are prone to localized high temperatures. When encountering insulation failures, prompting the rapid decomposition of the transformer oil to generate inflammable gas. As a result, the internal pressure increases suddenly. It is easy to explode. So we have to install the explosion-proof vents on the transformer in the event of an accident, which immediately trigger and open.
Remember when I told you on October 25th, some psychic said a musician was going to reveal himself who faked their death? I found the video. Tell me what you guys think. There's a bunch of predictions on here, but the October 25th one is interesting. Let's talk about it.
So a psychic, they came out with like a whole bunch of predictions for 2024, and the last one is fucked. That's why I want to talk about it, because the last one has me thinking. What was the last one? First prediction, that April 9th, this is after April 8th, April 9th, ocean waters will turn black for a week, and many unknown sea creatures will wash up on shore. That's April 9th. May 27th, the second American Civil War will happen. As Texas secedes from the country, followed by other states, it will eventually lead to an all-out war with involvement of other countries and nuclear weapons. Another prediction is, this one's the wacky one. August 8th, massive versions of over 40 mysterious species will be discovered in a secret part of the Amazon rainforest. So these include like 6-foot butterflies, the Titanoboa, 3-foot long ants, 5-foot spiders, god damn, and 200-foot long snakes. I don't know about that one, but it's still interesting. This one seems regular. September 9th, first ever category 6 tornado or hurricane will hit the east coast of the United States. So this is all for 2024, by the way. Now this is the crazy one. This one's wild. Yeah, what if this actually happens, I'm gonna be tripping. What the fuck's he saying? On October 25th, a famous musician will come out and reveal that they've faked their death. Whoa. Everyone will know who this person is, and he is said to be a legend of his time. Oh shit. Who do you think? Who are your predictions? It's either Michael Jackson or Tupac. Yeah.
Now that was from a psychic. Now I ain't gonna lie, some of the predictions are crazy. But the 9th, April 9th one about, the waters turning black, that didn't happen. But what did happen was on the 9th, we had that anomaly popped up in the Arctic Ocean. If you know, you know. So, he got that prediction a little wrong. But for a week, people were talking about that shit. So hey, I think he's halfly batting 1 for 1. But May, Texas will succeed. I'm paying attention to that one. You know why else that's peculiar about May? Because what we know what the WHO is doing in May. And that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. There will be a line that is drawn in the sand, and sides will be picked. What else is crazy? He said hurricane or tornado on the East Coast, and we're hearing all this predictive programming of New York City underwater. Interesting. And October 25th, a famous person faked this down. What do you think? Fact or fiction?
All right, April 8th, day of the eclipse, Indianapolis, Indiana. There's a little update for what the sky looks like right now. It is 10 till 11 a.m. It's odd, this morning, 8:30. It was a clear blue sky, beautiful morning, beautiful sunrise. Then these weird planes came through, one after another after another. And I don't know what that was all about, but then all of a sudden these like clouds came out of nowhere. It's awful odd. Straight lines I didn't think formed in nature. Huh. Anywho, April 8th, 11 a.m. We'll see how the day goes.
A lot of people who believe that they're very intelligent because the system has told them they're intelligent, when in reality they're not intelligent, because the system that was created to create good little worker bees, good little robots, said you're a good little robot. You follow directions enough to get awarded a piece of paper.
There's some unusual cruelty before the wealth is released. You see, there are gatekeepers who are afraid of you. You have enemies who are afraid of you. You have people in power who know who you are. You're being watched. The elite eyes are on you. You're being monitored by monitoring spirits. And you're feeling all of that cruelty. Think about this. If you have elite eyes, monitoring spirits, judgment, you're feeling the weight of that. And you're feeling the weight of that not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're about to get your break. Okay? Yeah, something's finna break. And what I know about the spirit realm is faster than the natural. So if something breaks in the spirit, you may not experience it until 6 months later. So some of you, something's already broken in the spirit realm. Let me drop this science real quick. It's already broken. It just hasn't reached you yet. And what you're experiencing right now, I'm talking to my crowd now, listen to your big brother. What you are experiencing right now is that awkward, uncomfortable, cruel transition. You've already broke free. The break is there. See, the breakthrough doesn't just, it happens out of nowhere, but it doesn't come from nowhere. It happens just boom at once. But there was a fight first. And so some of you, the blessing has been released in the spirit realm, and there is a war right now before it gets to you. So I want to give you this message today. I want you to lock in, dig deep, back straight, chest out, look at me, and experience this word. You need to understand my blessing's been released. What I'm experiencing right now is the pressure before the break. And I hope this message will keep you strong during your transition. Chosen one. You experience an unusual amount of cruelty because your breakthrough will literally change thousands of lives. If anything like me, you look at your life and you sometimes think to yourself, what have I done to garner so much disrespect? What have I done to garner so much dishonor? Now, if you are someone who has poor character, who doesn't work hard, who is not doing what you're supposed to do, this message is not for you. But if you're who I think I'm talking to, a person about business, a person of character, conduct, good conversation, a solid individual, a solid man, a solid woman, you have asked yourself at some point, why me? And I'm here to say today, the forces of hell have attacked you so harshly. Because if you can break through, if you keep going, if you don't quit, I'm gonna talk to you today. I know my crowd. Some of you right now, you're in that spiritual boxing ring, and your enemy's got you on ropes. You're experiencing that pain, that setback. But I want you to know this is for some people, not for everybody. For some of you, you are that close. You are right there at the door. And what you are experiencing right now, I'm going to speak in my spirit. You are experiencing the spiritual sword, the spiritual blows, the pain of the gatekeepers. There are demonic gatekeepers before every opportunity. And so many people are not even nowhere near close to these people. They're not close. So they're not feeling the heat you feel. You feel the heat because you're on the front line. You're right there. Am I making sense? You're in the heat of the battle. You're going to break and get the generational wealth for your family. You're going to get that contract. You're going to get that opportunity. You're going to break forth and go into the league. Some of you are going to get that break that no one in your family has ever got. I think about Joseph. Joseph's life was so difficult. 13 years as a prisoner slave, betrayal from his own brothers, heartache, not seeing his father for 13, 14 years, going into a foreign land as a young man, 17 years old, no support, forced into slavery, working for free, keeping himself pure, lied on by a woman who was immoral, put into prison for something he didn't do, constantly experiencing this unusual cruelty. Why was that? Because Joseph's going to do something that changed the entire nation. Do you hear me? And some of you are going to have a decision you're going to make, a business you're going to start, a non-for-profit, an organization, something you're going to do. It's going to impact a lot of people. And because of that, your preparation is brutal. So you will experience the spirit of dishonor. There is a real demon that has to do everything possible to cause you to question your identity, to question how powerful you really are, to question the authority that is on you, the gift you have. There's an assault against that. And that's why you got so many copycats around you. Let me drop that piece for you real quick. There are people around you, they can feel that energy, and they're coming there next to you to steal and to copy what you have. I call this the I can do that too generation. There is a generation that's been formed right now. There's a culture that has been created where they have that I can do that too spirit. So if they see you working hard to do something, rather than learn and grow and develop, they come right next to you and they steal it. So you're going to have to make it in the midst of this I can do it too generation you're faced with. Oh yeah, I know about that too. And as you go forward, you're going to get stronger and stronger, and your enemies will get weaker and weaker. I watched a speech today of Reggie Miller. He's a retired basketball player getting into the Hall of Fame back in 2012. Reggie Miller is one of the best shooters of all time. And he had about a 16, 18-minute Hall of Fame speech. I thought this was very significant. And he spent about 15 to 16 minutes of that 18 minutes thanking other people. That's character. And that's the type of person you are. You have the right spirit. And that spirit has you looking young. That spirit has you looking healthy. Reggie Miller was almost 60 years old. I thought the man was 45 when I saw him. So we're seeing from his life. Some of you, even me, I'm a lot older than some of you think I am. But living right gives you a glow. It gives you a purity. It gives you a light. Your path is also so difficult because you had to be tested in every way possible. Let me break down the science. What you're going to do is going to be so big. Listen to me. It's going to impact so many people. Listen to me. It's going to be just favor, breakthrough, blessings, like a river of silver and gold coming your way, like the dreams I've had, visions concerning some of your lives. And with all of that honor, with all those resources, with all that influence, your spirit is going to have to be iron. Iron in the soul, right? That's where they came from. I'm giving you the whole teaching of my platform. Your spirit has to be strong as iron to deal with the process of growth and development, but also, once you do cross over, having the character to not lose it. So we think about spiritual warfare. The war is to get the progress, but there's also a second war, and that's keeping the progress. This is why Biggie Small says in the 90s, more money, more power. More money, more problems. More power too, but more problems. More money, more problems. And when you have the resources, you're going to have some enemies you haven't had before. They're going to come out everywhere. And as that comes your way, you're going to have to be humble yet strong, kind yet firm, disciplined yet understanding of other people. You got to be a very balanced person. And the balance and the wisdom you need for where you're going, you can't get that from a book. That's what some people don't say. Big bro, I've been reading books for 20 years. Some lessons don't come from books. Some lessons, y'all wonder, man, how do you know this stuff? Life. Yeah, books are fun. I got a bunch of them right there I'm reading. I'm going to read some more books. Going to school is good. A book can't teach you everything. A class can't teach you everything. Okay? Some of the lessons I have learned have been in the school of life, reality, struggle, challenges. So some of the lessons you're learning right now, this cannot be taught in any college or university. It's called a hard knocks. And you're going through that because you have a big mission. So as I wrap this message up, I hope this message will give you that strength you need to go another day. I'm living this message, so I know what I'm talking about. I am convinced that the assignment that the Most High has for me is so big, He has to give me every test possible. Just want to give you this message. So I know who I'm talking to. Talk to my audience. Talk to my tribe. And if you're a part of my tribe, you know exactly where I'm coming from. What you going to do, my boy, sis? You got to go through the fire. So go through this with this perspective.
Archaeologists have discovered a pair of 250-year-old glass.
Archaeologist Howard Williams here, reporting on this amazing archaeological discovery by archaeologists excavating in the cellar of Mount Vernon, the home of George Washington and part of a restoration project of that mansion. They found 2 intact glass bottles with cork stoppers containing the remains of cherries, their pits, their stems, their flesh and goo. That's a mixture of the decomposed cherries and groundwater that has seeped into them, and it still smelled of cherries. Now, this amazing discovery sheds light on the 18th century life and economy of George Washington's home. Now, the dark green bottles containing the cherries were probably buried as a means of preserving the cherries from around 1758 to 1776. And they are dark green and of European manufacture. Now, the Mount Vernon website has a section discussing this find as a blockbuster and significant archaeological find that's not only of the intact bottles but their contents that have the potential to enrich the historic narrative, and we're excited to have the contents analysed so we can share this discovery with fellow researchers and the visiting public. But what's the story here? The website and social media just have this as one among many amazing archaeological discoveries, a time capsule, a window onto the 18th century, and this all seems this wonderful, this kind of nice, benign, good news archaeological discovery. But what it won't share with you is the full context, the historical and archaeological context of these discoveries, in which force us to contend with the darker history of Mount Vernon. Now, the Washington Post does concede that they were probably picked, bottled and stored by some of the hundreds of enslaved people at Mount Vernon, Burroughs said, but they were probably eaten in the main dining room upstairs. And in the same article, it does mention that by the time of his death in 1799, there were more than 300 enslaved people working on Washington's plantation. But what the media and the social media and the website of Mount Vernon itself won't discuss is the full academic. But what the Mount Vernon website, their social media and the media won't properly contend with is the full historical and archaeological context. And this is the curse of this soundbite, good news, benign, amazing archaeological discovery type story, not simply for colonial plantations, but also for all archaeological periods and places, that it robs us of any enriched, informed sense of what's going on. Dr. Tad Sturmer on this app already has called it. These cherries in bottles are telling us about brutality, suffering, dehumanization, the sweat, blood and sacrifice of stolen people. And if we don't contend with those history, we are participating in that continued dehumanization. Every time we just say, fab, amazing discovery of child sacrifice, amazing discovery of intact bodies at Pompeii, whether it's funerary remains, human remains more broadly, or indeed simple artifacts and substances linked to the lives of past people. If we are not telling the stories of those people, all we're doing is fetishizing the finds and dehumanizing those lives. Archaeology without people is the driest dust that blows, as Sir Mortimer Wheeler once said, and that's the key. It's not simply dry, it is utterly dehumanized archaeology and history. And that's what we should be avoiding when we're sharing news stories. Amazing new discovery, exciting new find, sure, but what does it tell us about past people's lives? And as Tad says correctly, this is a story of a colonial mansion and a plantation in which hundreds upon hundreds of enslaved people had to work for no pay, and George Washington and his family and his guests and visitors never did a day's work in their lives. You're welcome.
Ever wonder why men's shirts have buttons on the right while women's on the left? It's not random, it's history. Back in the day, men needed to draw their swords swiftly. Most were right-handed, so buttons on the right made sense. But women didn't dress themselves, they had maids. The buttons on the left were easier for the right-handed maids. Fast forward to today, we've ditched the swords and maids, but the tradition stuck. So, the next time you button up, remember you're taking part in a slice of history. Isn't that fascinating? History, fashion, and function all buttoned up in one neat package.